Anthony Castor, alongside Midwest Motorsports CEO Justin Thaler, and James Johnson, the voice of Midwest Motorsports. Buckle up, because the cool down lap starts now. You're listening to the
All right, and welcome to it, guys. This week's episode of the Cool Down Lap is brought to you by Midwest Motorsports. Joined here as always with James Johnson. We have Justin Thaler in here with us, and a new voice. Jason Huffman decided to hop in the booth for this week's episode, so we'll get to hear from him too. We got a little bit of action in real life to cover, and some of the action in the league as well, with the Road Series coming off of date out in Suzuka, and the Cup Series just finishing up out in Watkins Glen. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and hop into the action this week with our segment, This Week in Motorsports. James, I'm going to go ahead and hand it to you, man, to lead off here. So, go ahead, bud, with This Week in Motorsports.
This week in motorsports, there was so much action, kind of hard just to pick one. My favorite race was probably the Mid-Ohio race, full of action and really good racing, especially with the new IndyCar hybrid system. So I just encourage you to go watch it. A couple guys made rare mistakes that you don't see racing often. So check out the replay. I think it's on Fox Sports. Yeah, it was exciting. It's worth watching.
Yeah, oh, real quick, I haven't really got to run any of the IndyCar out at Mid Ohio. Yeah, so that would be a pretty cool one to watch. Looks pretty technical. So if you guys have watched it, throw it up in the chat, the YouTube chat there, and let us know what you thought of it. Justin, let's head to you, bud. What did you do over the weekend with Real Life Motorsports?
Let's see. Watched the whole weekend of Formula One and NASCAR and the Xfinity race. The Cup, I had NASCAR as the Cup and the Xfinity race, but I thought there was loads of drama and big storylines from the F1 race. Really, really good. Silverstone has kind of never really been one of my favorite races to watch for the last couple of years with the mix of weather that's come. And I think last year's race there was really good. But I think the race from Sunday at Silverstone definitely takes the cake. I think for one of the most exciting Silverstones in the last few years. So if you haven't watched that one, I would definitely advise going through and rewatching the entire race if you can.
For sure, definitely some fun storylines to come out of that race. So we ain't gonna spoil it here, but if you get a chance, go back and watch that. And it turned out to be a great race. Huffman, man, glad to have you on. What do you got for This Week in Motorsports?
Yeah, I was kind of same as Justin. I watched Silverstone in the morning, and then I watched both the Xfinity and the Cup race at Chicago. Pretty good overall. The Xfinity race was a little boring, but Silverstone was really good, and Chicago had some good moments. The Cup side, anyways.
I think that I was talking to James earlier, and Anthony chime in too on your opinion, but I think the bracket maybe intensified the Cup race this year at Chicago in a way.
There definitely seemed to be a little bit of that. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the bracket? I think it's a good idea, but I don't like this stretch of tracks that they're doing this on.
I agree. It's a great idea. The track selection's a little iffy, and I kind of wish the seating was done just a little bit different. Like to have Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson in the first round was kind of a weird setup. Like there's a couple weird matchups where you're like, maybe that should be like, these two meet in the second round or something. But we also produced a pretty good upset there with Ty Dillon beating Hamlin, and I'm pretty sure he beat was it Keselowski this week?
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
wasn't hard to do. I mean, he just had to
Underdog.
make it through the first lap.
Like he might be the underdog to make it all the way. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just so weird that they start. Like, I agree, the seeding was weird. Like, they should have just done what they did. Like, the top 32 points, boom, that's your seeding. And then I don't know. Like going from Atlanta, which could be chaos, to like two road courses back to back. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, super speedway, road course, road course, and I'm not entirely sure what they're finishing on, but the two road courses in it's kind of weird for sure. But it's a trial. I guess it's I guess can't say trial run, but it's first run of it this year. They'll figure it out next year. Probably do a little bit different in the tracks and maybe change up how they seed things a little bit more.
To me,
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's NASCAR trying to create more excitement or something, another reason to try to get excited. Um, Maybe because their product on the track is not, but I don't know. It just seems like another reason to try to pump the entertainment value up or get a reason for more people to watch that maybe wouldn't watch otherwise. So I don't know if it's just something to cover up another issue.
I think it's just mid-season lull, right? You get into the summer stretch and you're like right close to the playoff cutoff, so a lot of it's set. So I think that's just something to kind of keep in mind. So maybe I don't know.
We're talking about it, so it must be working.
So mine's kind of going to be a quick discussion about the Chicago uh race this weekend. So in your guys's, and I'm just going to go through the line here. So I'll ask each of you here. In your opinion, do you think Chicago, the street course, should be on the schedule every season? James, I want to start with you on your opinion here.
I'd like to see them rotate it. To be honest, does it get stale? I don't think so, but maybe three. You might start to stop. You're not capitalizing on the reason they went there in the first place, which was to get more fans that bring the racing to the fans in the middle of a city street. And after three races there in a row, I don't think you're going to get new people on the fourth year that you wouldn't get by having it somewhere else like San Diego.
For sure. Jason, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it showed that NASCAR themselves can actually do the street circuit style layout for a city. Like they could bring it to a city that's looking for that kind of market. And I think the track itself was pretty interesting, but I kind of agree. I think maybe it's kind of run its course for Chicago itself. And I kind of think we run like the Cup Series runs a little too many road courses in general as a predominantly oval series. But I think it's worth them doing somewhere else. Like I know there's the rumor about San Diego, so I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Justin, your thoughts?
I think if the rotation would be cool. I think it's a really cool track. And it adds a whole different flavor, I guess, and a wild card. I mean, of course we have the dominance of Van Ginsbergen as of the last couple of years, but if they replace it with San Diego, would really like to see maybe bring back some tracks that they haven't been to in years, like Kentucky or something. Not just like swap out that track, with another one, but maybe go to San Diego, but bring back Kentucky or where were they testing? Was it trucks testing or I don't remember. Was it Rockingham earlier
Yeah.
this year? Or like bring back
Mhm.
Rockingham, as back onto the schedule to maintain the image of, oval series racing. I don't
think
think
if
it's hurt the sport in any facet whatsoever. I mean, I think some of the older fans probably thought it was pretty cool, but they also gained, the fan base, in Chicago that they may have been searching to add.
You had a thought there, Jason?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think if they wanted to stay in Chicago, they should just go back to Chicagoland personally. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
or
was
that.
just about to bring up the possibility because James said maybe they revolve it every couple years. Maybe on an off year they just throw the Chicagoland track in there and start to, I don't know, maybe mix and match and maybe change the All-Star race to a track that they haven't ran yet. Maybe make that one of those street courses, or make it the Rockingham track and move. They honestly need to move North Wilkesboro into a points race, but
Mhm.
um, I see there's a lot of potential there in the schedule for them to kind of manipulate things and make it more interesting, especially with this in-season tournament they're doing. So we'll see. Maybe the schedule next year is going to have some fun kinks to it. But in all honesty, my opinion on the Chicago Street Course, it had the excitement with the bracket, as we've seen with Bowman and Wallace, and the TNT's doing a pretty good job at highlighting who's where when they're running, that kind of thing. So um, I'm all for it. Maybe the city of Chicago goes in a different direction with it, and they want to do every odd year or even year or something. We'll see.
Steve Hansel said Monaco.
Oh God.
Get out
you
of here, Steve.
I don't even think you could fit one car through the course, let alone side by side.
Yeah, that's got to be trolling from
Monaco.
Steve.
Can you imagine, like, if one of them blew the last chicane coming out of the tunnel?
I'm pretty sure we've seen that with Cody Ware. What would happen?
Somebody's
Yeah.
ending up in the yachts.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, speaking of which, that Cody Ware accident, pretty frightening to see. The fact that he also got on the radio and said he needed help, and the flag didn't come out for 30 some seconds. Like, I get not wanting to slow the race down because you have weather and stuff coming in, but at what point do you kind of have to just bite the bullet for safety? Like, those 30 some seconds, you never know what's going on inside that car. So pretty interesting to see NASCAR kind of hold the flag there until the race went white to throw out that yellow, especially with the impact. Seeing that, I don't know who posted in the Discord, but seeing that camera angle of him like slamming them tires, rough.
That was a
They
hard
had
impact for sure.
they had a couple pictures on Reddit of this car, and it is like the front end's not even there, basically.
Oof. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I think they said he was doing like, what was it, 70 or 90 miles an hour when he hit that wall?
I think like 90 because his brake rotor blew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the fastest
Regardless.
ones on the track.
Yeah, regardless. I mean, at some point you got to put safety above like the finish of the race, and even trying to cram it in with the weather coming. I mean, that's a tough call. So
Yeah, apparently it was like a downpour like a few minutes after they took the checkered too.
yeah.
They definitely held it because of that, but they're not going to say it, obviously.
No, of course not. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up the this week in motorsports segment, and want to hit a announcement here real quick. So I'll announce it, and Justin, if you want to kind of just talk through it, then we'll move on. Midwest Motorsports, I was about to say the Road Series. Midwest Motorsports is hosting a fun run
Mhm.
tomorrow night.
Mhm.
So current pro drivers will be driving in the GT4 class, current AM drivers GT3, and any non-Road Series participants free to join. So that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Justin, what was the thought behind this?
No, just something to mix it up. So if you're a current Road Series driver, you will basically, we're asking that you run the race in the opposite class as you are assigned. So the pro drivers would go down to the GT4 and the AM drivers would go up into the GT3s, and then anybody who's not a oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Anybody who is not a current um, Road Series participant is free to join in either of those. So, and you're not locked into if you drive a Porsche in the Pro, you don't have to drive the Porsche Cayman in the GT4 category. So it's just a fun run. Yeah, Steve, thank you. It was such a great idea. I'm so thrilled that I came up with it. I appreciate you shouting me out, Steve. But just something interesting that's just run for the hell of it and just swap up the classes and see how it pans out. So anybody out there who's not currently participating is more than welcome to join. Free to join in either of the classes you want.
Yeah, it's out at Watkins Glen. Of
Yep.
course, you guys are running the boot layout, right?
Yep. Yeah, we do the big time. We
Okay,
do big
so
time over here.
boot layout starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow. If you guys are interested, head over to the announcements tab in the Discord. You can sign up there. There's two options. You're either running the GT3 class, GT4, but remember, if you are a current Road Series member, you're running the opposite of what you run during your official league races. So it ought to be a good time. And head on over there and join up. It looks like they have 30 people right now signed up. So I'm sure the grid can go up to 50 or 60. So go ahead and just keep signing up, guys. That's tomorrow. So
Yeah, would
James,
love to get
oh,
some of the oval guys in that maybe haven't run anything with the road guys before. They're super chill and super good dudes over on the roadside. So don't be shy. It's all for fun. Um,
for
so yeah,
sure.
we'd love to get some more oval guys in there.
James, is that being broadcasted tomorrow? You know?
I think we're going to broadcast it. Adam is still undecided on whether he wants to race or run the broadcast with me or take the night off because he was in Chicago at the race. So I heard it was pretty hot up there and spent all weekend up there. So he wants the night off. He definitely deserves it. Um, so if he doesn't join, we'll try to maybe have an open mic night again where I'll just pull people up during the race, maybe at their pit stop or at a
Yeah.
time when they're isolated or something like that. You know, we'll make a fun event out of it. But I would like to. I'm interested. I'm going to watch the race whether I have somebody in the booth with me or not because I'm really curious to see the role reversal and see the GT4 drivers have to, watch how to make passes around traffic and try not to interfere with their race. So, well, little role reversal is going to be fun to watch.
The biggest wild card too is the return of the Midwest Motorsports Mustang safety car driven by Josh Watt. So we all know
Oh,
what he did last time. We had a fun run.
Oh boy.
just go out there and hit the pace car. You've been perfect. I want you to hit everything else.
Yeah. Or get hit by the pace car. We'll see.
Is that
You'll
bonus
only
points?
find out tomorrow. You're gonna have to watch to find out.
I feel like those bonus points are going to be like as useful as winning Whose Line, anyways. They're just
Yeah,
there. That's
exactly.
all.
Exactly. Should be
So,
fun.
yeah, should be fine. Again, guys, announcement tab. Go ahead, sign up if you haven't already. It's laid back, super casual, and it's going to be a fun time. So, head on over there and sign up. Moving on. We're going to hit the oval this week and kind of throw a wrench in things. So, normally we do road series. We'll go ahead and do the oval side of things. With the trucks being off because it was July 4th, the Cup Series, of course, went out to Watkins Glen. So last night we ran the Cup race, and as you can see on the screen there, winner, winner, chicken dinner for the number 2 of Justin Thaler. So, and I think we both, maybe all 4 of us can probably say that that win was not uh, what you've seen of Justin Thaler in the past, where it's kind of like just a set sail, drop the sails, and kind of go off into the sunset and run his race. There was some strategy and definitely had to overcome some obstacles. Would you say, Justin?
Yes.
Yes, I
So
would.
yeah. So we'll go through and we'll recap that action there, and this would be a great time to do it since I'm pretty sure we have the commentary, the eyes in the skies. Got to see it. We had the guy who was leading the race. Hoffman was mid pack, and I was at the tail. So we got eyes everywhere.
Mhm.
So race start. Whoa, we head down into turn 1, and it's pretty clean for the most part. Huffman, you didn't pick up anything going down 1, right?
No, I thought somebody in front of me may have gotten some action. I don't remember specifically, but I got through it pretty clean. So they're
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's somebody that got in the action was me. So
Oh, it was you? Okay. I thought I saw the car sideways, but I couldn't remember who it was. I was like, well, it's
He
not
yeah.
hit
me.
he hit the 4 because he couldn't hit the 2. He figured he'd at least double up the numbers and
Uh,
call it a night.
oh no, I was going down in there, and I was thinking in my head like, do I really want to do this? Should I just start from the pits? Like, I haven't done this in 3 months, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. We'll go head down into it. And turn 1, I knew something was going to happen, and I'm going down and trying to set my line, and I get a bump right in the quarter panel, and I'm like, yep, this is why I should have started from the pits. Around I go. But it's all good. That's turn 1. It's expected that somebody's going to get hit. You can't just have a clean turn 1 because it's not Watkins Glen if you do. But yeah, turn 1 was exciting for me. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing. First of all, Ant, it was really good to see you back on track again, man. I know it's been a rough
Mhm.
season. You haven't been able to participate on as many races as you want, but I was really glad to see you grid up. And something everybody may not have known, I did not mention it on the broadcast, but before the race started, I did find out that Christopher Hopper now has competition on the less clothed sim rig competition.
Heck yeah.
Ant, you want to talk us about what your clothing malfunction, wardrobe malfunction was last night?
Oh, yeah. So ultimately I ended up shirtless in the rig. It almost went a little bit further to where I was tying Hopper with boxers, but uh yeah, I was working on the Jeep all day yesterday, and it got to the point where it was, heck, I looked at the clock and it was like
Uh,
6:50. I'm like, dang, I gotta get inside. So I ran inside. My shirt's all covered in sweat. I'm covered in sweat and grease and stuff. And throw on the Oculus, and all the sweat on me is just like causing the lenses to fog up. So I'm like, you know what? Shirt off. And I was like, if that don't work, pants are coming off. I said, I'll compete with Hopper on the least amount of clothes. But fortunately, I didn't have to snap a picture, and we didn't get to the boxers point. So it was Hopper still one up me, but it's we're getting there. I can see why I did it. It was actually kind of comfortable, a little cooler.
It's
You know
probably a good
what
thing you
would
don't drive a. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say it's
yeah, go
probably a
ahead.
good thing you don't drive an actual race car.
You know what would fix that issue though?
What's that?
Triples.
As soon as I said, "What's that?" it hit me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, honestly, I wish I had them last night when I was like treating my VR like glasses, take them off, wipe them, put them back on, take them off, wipe them. So, but I
Mhm.
can't blame that on my terrible driving. So it actually unfogged by the time we went green. So that was pleasant. But James, what did you think of the start of the race, man?
well, with you spinning, that kind of set the tone for how your night was going to end up. Because did you end up with how many X's on that at that incident? Because you tried to get it back on the road and did a 360 again.
Oh, that was a different one. That was a
Oh,
different one.
just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last
No, you
one.
caught that one on camera too, and I was hoping you didn't. But
Yeah, try not to let too
um,
much get away.
yeah, there was. Yeah, I was a highlight reel. I had to go through and watch just to see how many times I made it on your camera, and I think there's only one good time I made it on there. Every other time I was spinning, but
Oh,
There was the one time I was going in the one in front of or right behind Holroyd, and he lost it. And then as I'm like coming out of the turn, I see Ant on the side up against the wall on the right side. I'm like, what the hell happened here?
oh yeah. That I was watching Holroyd, and as soon as he lost it, like my concentration kind of left me, and I ended up sliding the tires, and I was able to somehow gather it by using the wall to save me. So you witnessed that.
other
So
than
thanks,
that,
Aaron.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, Justin Thaler on the pole, and last season's winner, Brandon Thayer, started outside pole, and I think Ty Williams was third or fourth with Dustin Reinsettle, and that's how the race started off. And Brandon Thayer never left Justin's. I caught myself actually let it get out on the broadcast, but yeah, he was right behind him the whole time. Justin, you feel like he was pushing you hard? You had to be driving.
Yeah, I mean, uh, it's always that cat and mouse game. Like, if you don't want to push hard enough to where you force yourself to make a mistake, but you don't want to be so conservative where you just allow him the opportunity to make you make a mistake or make the pass on you. So he definitely had the pace. He was fast for sure, and he was fast last year as well. I knew, I said it I think last night that the competition each season just keeps getting up there in the road series or on the road courses. So um, not a slight on anybody in the league. Prefer it not to be that way, but um, yeah, I knew it was going to be probably him, uh, Albert in the 81, and I think if Eric would have been able to nail his quali lap a little better, he would have been starting up towards the front as well, and he's been known to be fast as well on the road courses.
Yeah, he ended up with the fastest lap of the race, so good for the 15. And then you and Brandon came in on lap 7, and Ty Williams, Sean Cunningham, a lot of them, some other guys stayed out to run the full tank. Did you know ahead of time that you were going to come in and stop to make sure that you could make it with just 2 stops the rest of the way? And also, I want to hear what Justin's strategy was, or Jason's strategy was going in the race.
Yeah, I did before the race started. I did quite a bit of testing to see if you can just stretch that fuel, and you really had to stretch it. And with the lap times, I was able to get around like 15 and a half or so laps. I just wasn't comfortable with thinking that that strategy was going to pay off. So um, Eric and I kind of talked about like, well, run the race backwards, come in, give yourself a cushion so you have enough fuel to be able to just run the race basically flat out and take that little bit of extra fuel at a stop early in the race. And then, that's not to say you could just cruise. I mean, I felt like I was having to push, every single lap to be able to make that strategy even pay off as well. I think it was either you do that and you push the whole race, or you try and fuel save to cut a half a stop out of the race. Either way, I think there wasn't like a clear cut. This was the best strategy to run. Compared to the other, I think it was just whatever you did and you had to sleep in it.
Yeah, and your road course experience, road series experience probably helped you at least think through the whole process, start to finish to the end of the race. Jason, what was your strategy coming in? Did you think about it, or were you just gonna do what everybody else does, kind of thing?
I mean, I kind of thought about it, and then I debated the short pit like Justin and the others. I know there was like a interesting split between those who short
Yeah.
pitted, and I decided to just go with the one where I was just going to run the fuel out every run, and I was mostly just trying to play conservative, and I was gonna try to keep my zero X's down, but I got a couple off tracks, so that strategy went out the window for the bonus points. But yeah, I just kind of followed what the 81 and I think it was like the 71 and maybe Trevor were all kind of on that, but I didn't save as much as I thought I did, and I ended up having to give up a couple spots at the end to like top off.
Yeah, great. Well, Sean Cunningham was the only one that went 15 laps, 45 lap race to stretch 2 extra laps at a road course. It's a big ask, and he had to do a lot of clutching or lifting coasting. He did it though. 2 stops, 3 stints. Good for Sean Cunningham. Unfortunately, wasn't in the podium, but um, Ty Williams did make his last pit stop at I think with 12 or 13 to go, and then by the time Justin and Brandon came out of the pits, you guys Ty was in front of you for a
Mhm.
while, and I think Brandon took tires on the second stop, and you took tires on the third stop, Justin. That was kind
Yeah,
of
wasn't my
tricky.
plan. I thought I had
Yeah.
tires selected for my second stop because that was going in was to, get about 6 to 8 laps in, take fuel only, and then on the second stop, full fuel tires, and then your last stop would be full fuel and no tires, and botched that, and that one put me in a pretty hard mental spot, I think, just trying to know that you're going to be at a heavy tire disadvantage and you will be losing time on the final pit stop as well.
Well, it's no shock that it's about lap times and doing consistent laps, lap after lap after lap. So it's no surprise that the qualifying positions were pretty direct, almost directly related to the finishing order. So, um, great race for everybody. That was entertaining for me, especially on that last lap. You guys were real close, and then Justin got held up by the 81 Ty Williams trying to get around him after the white flag. It was still 81 was the first to take the white, and then Justin, and then Brandon. And Justin, you had like 2 seconds on him taking the white on Brandon Thayer, and then you were doing a little bump draft through the S's before the bus stop
Mhm.
on Ty, and that allowed Brandon to kind of creep up right beside you. And you guys were side by side after Ty realized that he didn't have enough fuel to make it. So he got out of the way, and you guys were side by side almost all the way down to the bus stop.
Yep. Yeah,
It was cool.
he blocked me real good coming out of one, and I kind of didn't want to bleed too much speed, so I was like, well, I'll just kind of push him up into two, and I made a move to get to the inside, and then the left-hander at the top of the S's there, I think he definitely might have gotten too much curbing there, and I think that's what ended up ultimately unsettling him too much, and he kind of got sideways in front of me, and that was not enjoyable with Brandon right behind me as well, and then tried to defend up into the bus stop and maybe break a little bit later just to carry the position and the speed through the bus stop.
Yeah, it was good. Justin Thayer, Brandon Thayer, Ty Williams, 1, 2, and 3. Eric with the bonus point for leading or the fast lap. John Cunningham got 5th on a 2-stop strategy, and he is your new points leader, or maybe is still the points leader. Really close in the championship. Only 5 points between John Cunningham in the lead, Justin Thayer in second. 5 points back, Brandon Thayer. 4 points back from Justin. Trevor Mack, 1 point back from his teammate Brandon Thayer, and Aaron Holroyd's in the top 5. Jason, you're P6 in the championship right now, so that's kind of cool. You're ahead of Ty Williams.
Wouldn't expect it with how it's gone this year so far, but I'll take it.
Actually, I think you're tied, but you have better finish. I don't know why you're on top. I don't know what's the tie-breaking rule. I have to look at the rules for that. But you and Ty Williams are tied in points, and the standings on the sheet put you on top. So I don't know, Justin. Do you know what the tiebreak is?
I do not. I don't know if it's.
We have a rules admin in the conversation with us.
Yeah, that's the rules admin.
I think it goes
Look
off
it
of
up real quick.
hairstyle.
Well, I don't know what Ty is rocking on his dome, but I think I've got some follicles.
Some follicles.
Shirt or no shirt.
I'm wearing a shirt. Fortunately.
Oh, it's funny.
All good. The season's going to be a lot of fun. That was race 5, so there's 7 more to go.
Yeah,
Yep.
almost halfway.
Yeah, I think I actually made that comment last week about despite the amount of bad luck that Jason Huffman has been experiencing this season, he is still in a pretty good position in the points. So,
Could use a little help from my Ford teammates. They're nowhere to be seen in the top 10.
yeah, I got a host of Toyotas, some Chevys, and that
gotta-
Soul Ford.
That Trader Toyota or Trader Chevy, who used to be a Toyota, down in 10th.
They're both wrong. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's the points there. You mentioned Cup halfway through the schedule. So next week, Cup is out at WWT, I believe,
That's right.
and at Worldwide Technology. So, yep, can
We
confirm
don't do
Worldwide
back-to-back
Technology.
road courses here.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I need a break from those now.
Or
But,
Anthony's getting bullied.
Yeah, the trucks, you guys are back at it this Friday. So you guys, we're doing the old flip flop here. So, and not the kind you wear. We're doing the trucks are going out to Watkins Glen. Cup, you guys going out to WWT where the trucks just came from. So it ought to be some good racing. Night race for the Cup Series, Truck Series, since there's no lights out, Watkins Glen. It will be an afternoon race.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah, the broadcast for trucks Friday night, 9:30ish should be going live. No, 9:50ish should be going live. And Cup Series, we'll see you guys Sunday at 7:25ish. I think they'd go live. So should be some good racing. Make sure you guys join in. Again, if you haven't liked and subscribed the Midwest Motorsports page, go do that. That way we can get some more heads on these races and get some more viewers, maybe some more league members.
Mm-hmm.
The Road Series was out at Suzuka. A fun track. I actually like Suzuka. Huffman, have you ever raced Suzuka?
I have in other racing games, not iRacing, but yeah, it's a cool track. I like the layout.
We'll have to change that sometime.
Maybe one day.
James, how'd the Suzuka race go?
Absolutely incredible. Too much action to even start. I don't even recall too much of it off the top of my head. I'm sure it'll come to me as Justin talks us through some of it too. I know Michael Odell in the Corvette was on a run from the pole, and he brought the field down really slow. I thought that was really interesting. He almost waited to the line before he went. I don't know if that threw anybody off, but see, Justin, one of your better runs of the year with Greg Conaway, and even Scuba Steve was in the top 5 for a good while. I mean, it was cool. I know Steve and I think Jack Lucas and the McLaren were having a really good run. But Justin, you were up front with Odell, and you actually got around him for a while too. Talk us through your race, it wasn't pit strategy. What was the difference? I think he took tires on that first stop and you didn't, right? Maybe it was.
Yeah, I didn't take tires at all that entire race. I felt like I was in the best position, and I didn't want to, lose any more time. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There were a plethora of the fast guys who would normally be up there not attending that race. So, but I tried everything to at least keep Odell honest. I mean, it all started, with a good qualifying. Got out there and was able to put it. I think it was P3 quali position, but just try to keep running my race. And then, he took tires, and then the outlap with the new model, he was really kind of struggling to bring them in. And I knew that was an opportunity. I didn't, you know, he wasn't my target to race because I pretty much knew the outcome going into it, what it was going to be, who the winner would be between the two of us. But just try to hang with them and stay honest, and then just put fast laps down to try and gap as much as the field as possible, and put myself in a better position, compared to the rest of the field. But had a lot of really fun battles. Going side by side with him through turn one all the way up to the overpass bridge was pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You guys were side by side from turn one all the way through the S's. And if you know Suzuka, there are a series of 3 or 4 lefts and rights, uphill, downhill, and then I mean, it was just awesome racing and took a lot of discipline on both of your guys' points to go side by side at Suzuka.
Yeah,
Had to
that
be
was
fun,
that was a
Justin.
lot of fun. Oh, it was a
Yeah.
blast. I mean, I know he was faster than me, but I wasn't gonna pull over and give it to him. So, and I think he probably knew that as well, but I wasn't gonna jeopardize his race or my race. But just battling with him was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and don't forget there was a GT4 race going on as well. Um, Unfortunately, Pablo Araya got caught out by one of the rules that you're not allowed to break lines until the official start finish, not the iRacing start finish line, but the start finish line on the track. So unfortunately, Pablo Araya got caught out by that and had to do a drive through. But yeah, the GT4s were having an awesome race too. Justin Flagg got taken out. Well, not taken out. There was a move with, I think it was Jason Geyer, um, or Wahlberg, and John Daniels into turn one. And so Justin Flagg, who always is fast, led almost flag to flag at Mount Panorama, and was definitely fast here as well. Got sent back all the way to the end of the GT3, actually the GT4s even. So he had to work his way through GT4s before he could start coming up through the GT3 field. And he did. Made it all the way up to third before it was over with. And by that point, Michael Odell had got around you, Justin.
Hmm.
And then Justin Flagg was on your tail just as bad as Brandon Thayer was in the cup race. I mean, again, Justin, you're in the middle of it, man. What was that like? I mean, you barely had a second to breathe the whole 60 minutes.
Yeah, it was stressful because I mean he was just cooking lap after lap, and I was at a really big tire disadvantage because I never took tires at all, and the nature of that track, he was setting up runs where he had to and just couldn't close and get a move. So it wasn't really about. It was more or less just about car placement. The last probably 8 minutes of that race, and just trying to hold a tight line maybe around through the S's and just make sure he wasn't able to cross me over or have the grip on the outside line anywhere. And um, just defending him was a lot of fun, but also wasn't easy either.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I mean, you just got finished battling hard with Michael Odell, which actually allowed Greg Conaway and I think Steve Ansel and who else was in that group to catch
Oh,
up.
there's
I
like
mean,
5 of them behind us.
I tell you, Ant, I don't know if you've seen the replay, but the back of that dark horse Mustang was pretty fat. That's all I gotta say. It was a big old booty on the back of that dark horse holding
Yep.
up traffic, but it was perfect car placement. Nothing was egregious or out of line. It just didn't leave any room for him to pass. They had to go awkward to even attempt a pass. And so good defensive driving, as they say.
Yeah. Well, all aboard the Mustang train.
I,
Big
I
old
will go
booty.
back to your commentary, James. Whenever
Uh-oh.
Odell and Justin were doing that side by side battle from turn one up through the S's, the excitement coming out of you during that with the no, they're really doing this, they're going up through the corner side by, are you kidding? I was like, that's it right there, that's cherry on top. So great job
Oh,
commentating that.
it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. There might have been some Blanton's bourbon involved in that, but I was I was pumped up, man. It was
so
exciting.
so
Adam was
Justin,
rocking it on the cameras too.
I have to ask Justin, how was passing at Suzuka in general? I've seen a lot of communication in the Discord, people saying like it's a really tough track. There aren't very many passing lanes. Was that something that you experienced where you had to like pick and choose where you're going to pass GT4s or try to execute a pass on a GT3?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about like what Flag was trying to do is just trying to set up, set yourself up for maybe a corner or two ahead and get the run, um, and time it just right. I think through the S's, as long as the GT4s, which a lot of them I thought did very well, was just hold their line through the S's because I was able to, I took some of them around like the outside, which would lead to the inside of a corner. So it all kind of depended on how they were reacting in holding a line. Coming into some of the heavier braking zones, you could kind of get the job done if I think you showed your intentions pretty early that hey, I'm coming up the inside. Um, at the next corner there. So I didn't honestly think it was overall it was too terrible. Um, you know, I think going into turn one, a lot of the times, some of the guys I was battling go around the just it wasn't working. So I knew basically at least defending, or if I was going to attack another GT3, it wasn't going to be done going around the outside of turn one. I
Yeah.
think again, it was just all about setting yourself up for the right moment at the right corner and being able to execute it and just make sure you can get there and be able to make the move, make it stick versus just flat out saying like, you can't pass or something like that.
Yeah, and again, it always goes back to predictability of the GT4 running a line that you know they're going to run. Don't change it up just because I'm behind you, kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it always definitely helps for sure. Um, but I think I made it through unscathed. I felt real bad at one point. Coming up to the right hand kink out of the S's, I kind of got into Kyle Ryan a little bit because my spotter said we were 3 wide. Odell was kind of right on my quarter, and I didn't want to shove him off track. And I think I was watching what he was doing and just drove it in just a hair, hit him, and felt pretty terrible about that. But I mean, as far as the other GT4 traffic goes, I didn't see or have any issues of my own.
It's hard to realize that there's, 34 in this race, there were like 34, 35 cars on the track. and there were almost no real incidents that we saw with interfering with traffic. Although, again, I remember calling with um, Kyle, and it looked like he was trying to figure out where to let you go. And so he went over one way, and you were being patient not to avoid him or not to hit him. And he was trying to tell you to go one way, but you didn't go that way, maybe because you didn't want to go that way because you had Michael Odell on the back. So, I mean, it was really tough I understand now even more so. And that was a perfect example of how difficult it is for the GT4s to know exactly where you want it to go, because there's so many different drivers in the GT3 class that don't really may not pass the same way. You might go through traffic different than Justin Flagg goes through traffic, or Jamil, or John Daniels, or Greg, or even Steve. So yeah, it's difficult. You just have to be patient, and both of you guys were. And I thought if a little chrome horn is all it took to get around it, then it could have been a lot worse for Kyle, and he's probably grateful it wasn't worse.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely, I didn't want to make any type of contact with him. It's just I thought Odell kind of popped out in my mirror, and I swear my spotter said, car right, and I was like, well, I don't want to chop him off, and if he's close enough, I don't want to run him while have him think, I did something dirty to him, and just didn't react quick enough to the braking zone, the GT4 compared to the 3.
Yep. Zach
But
Alexander by this point had like over 20 seconds lead in the Roxy Pink Porsche Cayman, and good run for Cody Height in the Wart AMG Mercedes. Even after a little qualifying debacle, Cody Height was able to pull in the best run of his season, getting P2 at Suzuka. I hope he feels good about that, because he put in a good run
for sure.
in the GT Fords. Have you got that pulled up yet, Ant?
Oh,
The
the
results?
standings or
Yep,
results?
results.
No, I didn't pull up the results. I didn't throw them in the.
No problem. I got them. Again, kudos to everybody that showed up and raced that one, man, because that was a lot of fun. And I'm glad you enjoyed the broadcast, and that's why we do it. Michael Odell ended up with the win about 17 seconds ahead of Justin by the time the race was over. Justin Flagg, like, I guess 2 seconds back when you guys went across the line, but it looked a lot closer than that. It was the Justin chasing the Justin, and Justin beat Justin. So it was good to see the Justins racing it out for the final steps on the podium. Good run for Greg Conaway and Jack Lucas. Steve Ansel just outside the top 5. John Daniels up to 7th. But my drive of the day has to be Justin Flagg to go all the way down to the back on lap 1 and make it all the way through the field, a competitive field. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think he had more than one spin too.
Oh yeah. We didn't catch it,
Oh.
but he said in the Discord he went around.
Once again, a lone
one.
Ford in that points standing.
Well, we have Jussie Coffee runs the
Yeah.
Ford now. He needs to creep his way up there with me. Somebody's got to represent, I guess.
Lone blue oval.
When are they gonna? What's iRacing gonna add the NASCAR Le Mans car?
Dude, that's probably the only Chevy I would own in iRacing.
Yeah, 3 races left, including an endurance. It's gonna be exciting.
For sure. For anybody on the stream that's watching, I have the points up for the season. This is the pro points here. So Mike Odell's leading those. Justin Flagg is in second, 241 points behind. Jason Phillips in third. Justin, the lone Ford, in the top 10 in points. You're in fourth place there. John Daniels right behind you in fifth. Jason Wahlberg, sixth. Steve Hansel in that Porsche, back in seventh. Chase Fincher, he's back in eighth. Johan DeRoy in the other Porsches in ninth. And Greg Conaway rounds out the top 10 in that McLaren. On the AM side of things, Zach Alexander, who seems like he's winning most of the races down there in the AM division, is, of course, on top, driving that 93 Porsche. Nick Moffitt is in second in the Porsche. Nick Aslin in the McLaren in third. Ron Kabiltis in the Merc in fourth. James Zangi in the Porsche fifth. Troy Nissen, Porsche sixth. Kyle Ryan in the Aston in seventh. Rick Bundren, Porsche eighth. Cody Height, Mercedes ninth. And Justin Schupp in the Porsche in 10th. I just want to point something out that it feels like last season I did not say Porsche near as much as McLaren. And it feels like there's been a flip here. There's quite a few Porsches that are being ran. So always happy to see it. I'm a pretty big Porsche guy, but it's being pretty heavily used there, the GT4. So let's see what next season looks like with the variety. That's to say if we even run GT3 or GT4s next season. Isn't there a poll out for that, Justin?
There will be soon. All right. Just relax a minute.
I am not. Don't give me any information after the last time you did. Just release the poll. Don't talk to me about it. Don't put a channel up in the Discord. Just just do your thing, and I'll kind of just ride the wave.
No worries. I gotcha.
Awesome. But that's all we got here, guys. It was actually a hour-long show here, so we kind of hit our marks on timing and everything. Great job, guys. Jason, always a pleasure having you in the booth. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, man.
Hey, we're not done with Jason yet, are we? Justin hasn't asked his famous question.
Oh, no. So I guess how do you think, since you've been here through a lot of changes in the oval side of things, how do you think, are you starting to like the format more without the comps and everything else?
I've always been a big fan of not for mandatory cautions anyways, just run the full distance uninterrupted outside of accidents and stuff. The full season thing's been good. It's certainly rewarding consistency. So I don't know. I like where we're going with it.
So next question, since we're doing the full season, everything, everything's starting to look kind of like mid 2000s. At what point are you going to be open to the idea of Gen 4?
I'm always open to the idea of Gen 4. When
here we go, guys. Start up the Winston Cup.
Yeah, when ARCA when they quote unquote messed up the ARCA car, I raced that Gen 4 Cup official quite a bit. It's fun. Like I'd love it if we did it. I mean, it's kind of funny. I think now at this point, since I really only run the league in iRacing, I've ran the next gen probably way more than I thought I would, and I think it gets a little more hate than it rightfully deserves. But that said, I would love to go to a Gen 4.
Guys heard it here. We're going to start the cigarette league up. We got it.
Well, again, before you let you go, Jason, I do have a Midwest Motorsport memory. I'm going to take you back a long time ago to season 6, and my buddy Aaron Holroyd was on the call. So let's listen and see if it's going to bring back some memories.
Final lap. This is your final lap. Jason Huffman, your leader. Albert Williams sitting in second place, a second and a half back now. Coming to the checkered for his first series win. Jason Huffman, you have done it. Albert Williams, second place. Dustin Reinsettle coming in third. There he is. Jason Huffman, the Dunkin' Donuts number 4 with this race win in the series. Dustin going to come give him some love. Oh, there you go. That's good sportsmanship right there. 2 Toyotas. Give him a little kiss earlier in the race. Justin kind of got in the side of him and gave him some business. There's Melton, series leader, giving him a little love too. Look at that. That's awesome. Ryan Taylor giving the whole sorry for spinning you out earlier. Melton giving the congrats. Let's see him burn it down here. I know he's been waiting for this a long time. Here comes Justin. He wants to give him a little love tap too. Deciding better. Let's see it, Jason. That's been a long time coming.
That's how it ended. All Jason Huffman has to do is come into the booth for the post-race interview. Jason Huffman, Albert Williams, Dustin Reinstedt, 1, 2, 3. That was incredible. Some good names there that you finished ahead of. You remember that night?
Yeah, that was fun. I think Aaron's a little off. That was not my first win by any stretch, but I'll give him a pass on that. That was Michigan. That was fun. I always like Michigan. I know Anthony has a contrarian opinion on it, but it's always been a track that's been well to me generally. I know we ran it as our season opener this year, and outside of the fuel strategy, I felt like I had a capability of winning it. So hopefully we can do it again this year at some point.
I mean,
There's-
you've always kind of been one of I'm waiting for, I guess, because you're not a stranger to the, being on the top step. So I'm wondering, have you kind of felt like the past couple seasons maybe you just kind of been in a slouch, or maybe some runs of bad luck here and there has maybe played a role as well?
I think some of it is just I haven't been as invested in preparation as I did in the past, because I can tell this season I've been pretty confident in my pace throughout the race, but it's usually starts with qualifying, then finishing the race has been a little bit of an issue. But I still know I have the pace. I guess at some point I need to give myself a kick in the butt back to being motivated into practicing.
Maybe you
were-
need to bring the Duncan back.
I was just about
Maybe.
to say, there were 2 things from that little audio clip that really stuck out to me. One, the Dunkin' Donuts paint scheme, because we haven't seen that in forever.
It has been a minute. Maybe a revival.
There you go.
Yeah,
And 2,
yeah.
the fact that you called out that traitorous Chevrolet earlier in this podcast, and he was the first guy to give you a love tap on your not first win, but
I think
it just goes to show there.
I think if I remember right, we were side by side, and I think he got I forget what happened. It happened on the back stretch. I remember that, and he got into me, and I spun it around. I didn't need a fast repair or anything, but it definitely put me in the back, and I had to play recovery in that race.
Well, that's all we got this week for you guys on the podcast. Again, Jason, thanks for coming in and joining us. Next time you got an off week, man, let me know. It's always fun having you in here.
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Justin, glad you could make it with everything going on in your life. Appreciate you, buddy. And James, always happy to share the booth with you, man.
Yeah.
an
All
honor.
right. Let's do it.
So with that, guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to call this close to the podcast, and we'll catch you guys back out here next Monday after all the action that occurs throughout the week. So remember, like, share, subscribe, talk to your friends, get some more viewers on that YouTube channel so they can see what actually happens in sim racing. Who knows? Maybe you can talk your friends and get some rigs and join in the league. We're always open to having people come in and enjoy some racing with us. So until next time, we'll catch you guys then. Have a great week and enjoy your racing.
Don't forget to stay in your lane.